Colonel John Alexander, an expert in weaponry and alternative energy, was then stationed at the top-secret Los Alamos Laboratory in New Mexico. Today, he is a consultant to the Secretary of Defense.
In the early 1980s, I was in the U.S. Army assigned to Intelligence and Security Command. Some mutual friends came up with a tape which was of an 8mm film that showed some pretty remarkable events that we could not understand. When we first viewed the tape, it had a number of different kinds of interactions, and that's really what made it attractive. We saw things that were, hovering in the air. We had things that were accelerating.
The first step at Los Alamos was to determine that the effects pictured were not an elaborate hoax. After careful scrutiny, Alexander concluded that the events in the film were not fabricated, and that the Hutchison effect was worthy of further investigation.
There was just enough on tape to make it tantalizing enough to follow through on. So it was decided that we would fund the project far enough to see basically a show and tell, a proof of principle.
In 1983, Colonel Alexander and his team of scientists went to Vancouver, hoping this backyard scientist had actually discovered a new energy source. As seen on film, it appeared that the metal samples were levitating and reconfiguring, even though Hutchison still could not explain why.
This bar here, of course, aluminum, was ripped apart, turned into almost a jelly configuration.
In observing the film initially, it was not just like metal or something we could say, oh, he's got a magnetic field that's causing that to happen. There were paper items, there were heavy items that were floating around. Heaviest I recall was like 56 pounds. You had a bar of metal. One end was in fact hardened steel, as you would expect. The other end was very soft, almost as soft as lead. How it got that way from a single tooled piece, not easy to explain. There were no simple answers to the effects that Hutchison was producing.
John Hutchison had attracted some of the most respected scientists in the United States military to his makeshift lab. Now, all he had to do was show them how the Hutchison effect worked.
Well, our hope was that he had, in fact, stumbled into something, and that even if he could not describe it, we could observe enough under controlled conditions, and it could be replicated sufficiently that we could then turn it over to scientists who could figure out what was going on.
Alexander's